So, good afternoon. My name is Avner Wallach. I'm a very new addition both to the Technion in general and to the TASP. I'm the representative of the Faculty of Biology in the program, but originally I'm an electrical engineer. I did my PhD in electrical engineering here at the Technion. And what I study is sensing, navigation, and control, which is, I think, kind of sums up what we call autonomy in living systems. So most of the experts in the program and people you hear, I think many of the people you hear today, what we want to do with autonomy is to take an artificial agent, robot or autonomous vehicle, and give it the ability to get around in the real world on its own. So that involves, of course, integrating integrating information from a variety of sensors, coming up with very smart algorithms to use this information to make sense of the world around the agent and where the agent is localized in the world, and enable it to get from one place to another, to plan the course and to get, let's say, from the Technion to my favorite shawarma in the Merkaz HaKarmel. Okay, but of course we have around us agents that are able to do this, and we're able to do this for millions of people. These are natural systems organisms. So, for instance, this salmon that can navigate over a course of hundreds of kilometers all the way to the breeding ground, and then back toward the tributary, the river where it was born, and to turn into the shawarma for this bear. Okay, and our organism can do it very efficiently, very well across many scales. So what I want to see is how we can look into how organisms do it and see if there are parallels between the theory that we have from artificial systems and what animals are doing. And we can do this also in the lab, so we don't use these large-scale natural systems. We can bring this to the lab and teach animals to navigate. For instance, here what you see is another fish, a different kind of fish, that was taught to use these landmarks to get from its home location very precisely to a food location in complete darkness. So we can train the animals to do it very reliably and then look at how they are doing. What I'm using, the animals that I'm using to do it, is also a type of fish. This is the fish you see here. It's an electric fish. Okay, so what are electric fish? Electric fish is a variety of fish, tropical fish, both from Africa and South America, that develop a sensory system that is based on electrical fields. Okay, so we have this fish. This fish is called the elephant-nose fish for obvious reasons. It evolved this electric organ in the tail that emits electrical pulses, weak electrical pulses around a volt and a half. And these pulses create an electric field around the body of the fish. Now, objects in the vicinity of the fish, like rocks and prey items and other fish, distort these fields, act like lenses, and these distortions are sensed by these very dense array of electroreceptors on the skin of the fish. And the information from these receptors go to the nervous system that processes it then and enable the animal basically to go out in complete darkness, where it's completely hidden from its main predators, which are birds, and look around, navigate, find food, interact with conspecifics, and so on. Okay, so why I'm using this animal? Now, this animal is ideal, in my eyes, to study this question of how autonomy is generated in animal systems, because it's using electricity. And electricity is very useful. For instance, I can list like 20 items why it's so useful for this research. But one of the things you can understand that we understand electricity very well. So here you see a fish, and I overlay just by looking at the fish. I didn't measure anything other than just looking at the fish, and I can overlay the electrical field around the fish, the body of the fish, and compute what is the fish experiencing every time it's giving out a pulse. That's one example of why this is beneficial. So we have a sensory system that is completely accessible for us just by looking at the animal, figuring out what is the information coming into the sensors. The other thing is, we look at how this information is processed. Then we go to the brain of the animal. And this is a cross-section of the brain. This is the back of the brain. This is the front of the brain. And the brain of the fish is relatively complicated. It's a vertebrate, but it has a unique advantage when it comes to asking this question of how navigation comes about, which is that you can see here two broadly defined layers of the brain. So you have the bottom part, the hindbrain and midbrain, where you get information from the sensors, process it, filter it, and then output information into the actuators, the muscles. Okay, so this lower level is in charge of sensory processing and motor control. And you have the higher level, which is the forebrain, which does the learning, construct a representation of the world, a map, and issues commands how the animal navigates from one place to the other. And these two parts are connected by this bottleneck. So in both directions, both going up and going down, all the information has to pass through this narrow back bottleneck. So if we put an electrode in these bottlenecks and look at the information transferred between these two layers, we can try to figure out how the animal is solving this problem of autonomy. And this is what I've been doing in the last several years. So I developed this watertight miniature implant that we can implant on the head of the fish. And then we can record both the behavior of the animal, the electrical activity of the animal, and the activity in the brain of the fish as it's traveling around. This is how it looks like. Okay, so this is an implanted fish. This is slow down. This is infrared light, so the fish is in complete darkness. And I can record the activity of the fish behaviorally, where are the fins, the tail, and so on. And also, this is a single electrode that I put in the brain out of many. And you can see here the electrical activity of brain cells that are involved, in this case, in sensory processing of the information coming in from the skin. Okay, so we can implant the fish with these electrodes, teach it to navigate in big environments, and then look at how these algorithms that we have, how do they compare with that, what the brain is actually doing in this animal. That's it. If you're interested, I'm of course I'm very much open to recruiting new students. If you know someone or you're looking for a PI, then welcome to comment.
Great, thank you.